Dispatched the winning penalty 7 minutes after Alisson and Van Dijk's confusion had afforded Fulham a glimpse at an unlikely point. Liverpool prevail in the end. The final score in the driving rain at Craven Cottage: Fulham 1, Liverpool 2.
Well, in this fascinating race at this stage of the season, it is all about the results. And Liverpool got there in the end. 3 huge points, a 23rd win of the season, takes them top of the pile. Could have been more comfortable for them, Michael?
Few, I think is the word, isn't it, from Liverpool's point of view, because really Fulham should never have been in the game, and they should have killed it off earlier than they did. But full credit to Fulham, they obviously got back in there. It was a couple of mistakes from Liverpool, James Milner in the first place, and then I thought Alisson in the second instance, and then it's backs to the wall. But thankfully they've kept this title race in the melting pot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can empathise with this when you're going for titles, Wrighty.
Yeah, you can.
Fulham away, it's just all about the win somehow or other.
Yeah, you do. Ideally, you want to take them chances and make it a lot more comfortable, but you knew that Fulham could do something because they'd done absolutely nothing in the first half. They didn't do too much to put Liverpool under pressure, but what they'd done is got the ball forward a little bit earlier and just caused a bit of confusion. And they once it's 1-0, you've got a chance. But, like I say, Fulham will look at this and think to themselves, second half was a little bit better, but Liverpool, like you say, it's about getting the result now. Liverpool's a team I've gone for. I'm nervous sitting there myself, so I don't know how Liverpool fans, proper fans, feel.
Well, you saw what it meant to Jurgen Klopp there in front of those travelling Liverpool supporters. Scott Parker left to reflect on what might have been after his 3rd game in charge of Fulham, after the former Liverpool player Ryan Babel had almost set the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons. But it all means that Liverpool are back on top of the league, heading into the final international break of the season. They have 7 left to play. The champions, Manchester City, have 8. They are now 2 points behind Jurgen Klopp's team, still with a better goal difference. Remember, 6th place Chelsea coming next. They have a chance, if they can win at Everton, to go within a point of 3rd place Tottenham. It really is a struggle for Fulham and for Scott Parker. Still on 17 points, still 13 points from safety with only 7 games to play. Well, you just about got there with your heart, but when Ryan Babel, a player we talked about prior to kick-off, and his comments about Virgil van Dijk as well, equalised, what were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking fair play to Ryan Babel, because he was probably their brightest spark. Again, we spoke about using Mitrovic, and even if it's a long ball, you need to use a presence if you're going to have one. I mean, Van Dijk, I'm not sure it's really his fault here. I'm more in the blame of the Alisson camp. I think that's a really poor slice clearance. He could have headed it a bit harder, a bit higher maybe, to give Alisson a chance of just catching it easily. He would have had to stoop and pick the ball up, but I don't know whether he just bottled it or misjudged it or something, but I think it's Alisson's fault as well as Milner's.
I think Alisson can catch that on the full. When you look at that, just dive, dive and catch it on the full, you take the pressure out and take the sting out of it. It's just a big mistake from his point of view, and it could have cost them today. So that's where you could see maybe some of the nerves stick coming in, because you don't see him do many things like that. But that, for me, was a big mistake that nearly cost them.
Both goalkeepers were involved, because 7 minutes afterwards this happened. And any rational explanation for this?
No, none at all. I think that the goalkeeper, the shot initially comes through there. He's got to catch that for me. I know it's close, but I cannot understand why he thinks he can actually pat that there. He's got to try and catch that. And then, if I'm Mane, I'm sorry, but I am not. You get that kind of contact in the box, you're probably going to go down.
Really poor decision, because the ball's going way away. Mane can't possibly score from where the ball's dropping. But it's just a natural reaction. You drop it and you just grab the player to stop him scoring straight away. And James Milner showed a lot of courage as well. He meant to go down the middle there. He knew Sergio Rico was going to dive one way or the other. But it takes a lot of courage to actually aim at where the goalkeeper's standing and thinking, please, please just dive out the way.
Yeah. He is the match winner, and he's alongside Virgil van Dijk.
Guys, well played. Virgil, you've been a colossus all season, but is relief the feeling right now?
No, we won the game. Mistakes happen in football, and obviously Yeah, a couple of things happened, and it is what it is. But yeah, we go again.
James, you stood there chuckling.
Biggest deflection I've seen, but he's right. It was me who put him in the mire, to be fair. So, you know, the gaffer said, come on and calm it down. So, best thing to do was slice it over the top and put Virgil under pressure, which wasn't ideal. But, you know, lucky enough, we got the result and did what we needed to do.
Like you say, Virgil, mistakes do happen, but just talk us through what did happen. Obviously, Alisson's coming one way, you're going the other. At that point, the weather's pretty bad. I'll give you that excuse as well.
I'm not giving excuses. You know, I should have had it better. And it is what it is. They scored, but we scored again, so we won. We have 3 points, and we go home all happy and we top of the league.
James, how are you feeling stood over that penalty? Are the consequences of the title race and all that flashing through your mind, or are you able to just focus on what you need to do?
Yeah, I think obviously what's gone before, and I feel that's probably my fault. The goal as well, so it's important to put it away and made up for that. But you know, there's years of practice gone into the penalties, and when in the game, you just got to go back to what you've been practicing and be calm and know what you're going to do.
Virgil, how big a win is it taking you into that international break, top of the Premier League?
Yeah, massive. Yeah, obviously we know it was going to be a very tough game, and especially second half. I think also we made it very difficult for ourselves. We weren't calm enough on the ball. We didn't create too many options for each other, and obviously with my mistake we make it even more excited for them. And but yeah, in the end we got the 3 points, and now we can focus on the national team.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, they're smiling, and he was at the end with his manager as well. It could have been so different, but for that James Miller penalty. You can see with Jurgen Klopp there, Michael, what an important win that is for Liverpool.
Well, it's huge relief going into an international break and off the back of the Champions League result in Munich. Emotionally, it was a huge game in Germany. But then you don't want to ever lose your game before you go on international break, because it's just a lasting sort of reminder, let's say, while you're away for a week or two. So they'll be delighted just to put that one to bed. A tricky little game that they were expected to win, but a fantastic week for Liverpool. Now international break, and Jurgen Klopp will be hoping to wrap them all in cotton wool. Hope the national team managers don't play them all. I'm sure they will, and he'll just keep his fingers crossed now that they come back, you know, in a week or so, fully fit. 7
games to go for Liverpool, 8 for Manchester City. Liverpool's next fixture in the Premier League is Tottenham at home. Then the Southampton away. Chelsea at home, of course, still to play as well. They go to Cardiff, Huddersfield, Newcastle, Wolves. Manchester City next, ironically, are at Craven Cottage against Fulham. They still have to go to Palace. They still have to go, of course, to the Manchester derby at Old Trafford, to Burnley, to Brighton. They also have to rearrange their home game against Cardiff as well, because of Manchester City's progress into the FA Cup semi-final. So when you're looking on paper, can you see anything in between them there, Righty?
Well, you know, like the guy said there, it comes down to they've got the result, and that's all that matters. And I think that both of them at this stage will be thinking that. You have to say that the way Man City play, they're more adept to dealing with teams staying deep and having to break them down. It's going to be tough, but they always get through it. And Liverpool, we saw today against the Fulham side, second from bottom, hardly done anything in the first half. They weren't ruthless enough, and that's what they should do. Should have put them away a lot earlier. So you can see tough games still coming in respect of Liverpool to finish these teams off.
City got 5 away, 3 at home. Does that count for anything at this stage?
Well, slightly. You look at their points per game, it's slightly down away from home compared to at home. Crystal Palace, they've got to travel to. They're quite the opposite. They're a good away team, but struggling at home. So I keep looking at the remaining fixtures, and I just can't pick who's got the easier. I think it's pretty even. Of course, Liverpool have got really 2 tough games, but they're both at home. I think the good thing from Liverpool's point of view is that Manchester United are right in the Champions League race. So they're going to go to Old Trafford, and there's going to be a lot on the game for both teams. So I really can't choose who's got the easier running, and I still think the title is a flip of a coin.
And the fact that Manchester City are still going for absolutely everything, will that help this Premier League run-in for them, or potentially hinder it?
Well, it's going to hinder it, because they're going to have so many more games and so many more pressurised games, and games which, like Liverpool, they have to win them. So, you know, they've got more to do. They're going for more, and you know, it could switch on just one bad result and momentum. So you have to say, Man City, what they're going for. Yes, the quadruple. You know, it is a realistic thing for them to go for. Whether or not they do it, I don't think that they will do it personally. But you have to still make them favourites in respect to the Premier League. which is very tough for me to say, simply because I want Liverpool to win it.
Well, I know this man does.
Not as much as me,
as well. And again, just that little psychological aspect now. City are chasing. They've got the game in hand.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of people make a lot of it. They you know, most people think that it's a huge advantage to play first. Of course, City aren't playing for quite a while in the league now. Ironically, their next game is away at Fulham. And you'd have to say on today's display, City are going to open Fulham up and score quite a few against them, I would have thought. So that, in my book, is 3 points for City. But I think the games get a little bit harder as they go. And yeah, as you say, City have now got to put the different hat on. They're the chasers now.
Mm. And as I say, they've now got another game to rearrange because they're in the FA Cup semi-finals. It's a congested calendar the champions have got.
Yeah, but they've got the squad for it. As you can see, like yesterday, the players and who they're able to bring on. They've got unbelievable depth in their squad. You know, you have to look at how strong City are and how they get it done. So you still put City as favourites simply because their squad is so strong. They can deal with it.
OK, let's get some instant reaction from the Liverpool manager, Jurgen Klopp.
Well, Jurgen, big smile, 3 more points, but not without a scare towards the end.
Oh, no, that's true. No, it was not... Well, actually, it was a bit like we are. That's how it is. We started really well, did a lot of good things, and, yeah, lost the rhythm a little bit. I'm probably not the most experienced manager, but I had a few Champions League games, and I had similar problems after Champions League games. Very often that it's... like the first half is a bit rusty, like that. You needed to come in, but in the second half we could have finished it off. We had good moments really in the box. Everything was fine, but then it's clear only 1-0 up. If you don't kill the game, then it's clear that something like that can happen. And I think today, with the circumstances again. You take it, I have it already, whatever.
It's such an unusual misunderstanding between two players who've played so well for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, it can happen. Babel was there. That's how football is. That's obviously, and I really think they deserved the goal, but we deserved the 3 points with the whole game, and that's how we got it. I didn't see the penalty back. Now the situation actually. Plenty of players in between, but Millie finished it and scored with it, and it's brilliant. A brilliant night and afternoon, I have to say.
You can see what it means to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of relief there, isn't there? Especially after them coming back, you know, and you're looking at the clock ticking down, you're thinking, Liverpool, absolutely, this is vital for them to stay in the race. So he's delighted, particularly after the back of going away in Europe, because as he says, it's always tricky.
Liverpool, top of the Premier League going into the international break. When we come back, our attention turns to Chelsea's Champions League chase.